Bolshevism in Russia. On October 1st, Mao Tse Tung declares the founding of the People's Republic of China in Tiananmen Square, Beijing. He is funded by Rothschild, created communism in Russia and handled by the following Rothschild agents: Solomon Adler, a former United States Treasury official who was a Soviet spy; Israel Epstein, the son of a Jewish Bolshevik imprisoned by the Tsar in Russia for trying to foment a revolution there; and Frank Coe, a leading official of the Rothschild-owned IMF. In December 16th's Jewish Chronicle, Israeli Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, is quoted with the following statement: "Jerusalem is not the capital of Israel and world Jewry, it aspires to become the spiritual center of the world." 1950. Figures reveal that as planned by the Rothschilds, every nation involved in World War II greatly multiplied their debt, bringing them further and further of the entire world. These steps are: 1. Central bank domination of national economies worldwide. 2. Centralized regional economies through superstates such as the European Union, and regional trade unions such as NAFTA. 3. Centralization of the world economy through a world central bank, a world currency, and ending national independence through the abolition of all trade tariffs by treaties such as the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT. Israel passes their law of return, guaranteeing every person born of a Jewish mother, throughout the world, the right to dwell in the State of Israel. However, the Palestinians, who had lived there for 1,300 years, are denied that right. John David, former chief of the Justice Department's Internal Security Section, notes that the Israeli about discrimination. Do you know who is being discriminated against? The white Christian people of America. The ones who created this nation. Communism is racial. A racial minority seized control in Russia and in all her satellite countries, such as Poland, Czechoslovakia, and many other countries I could name. They have been run out of practically every country in Europe in the years gone by, and if they keep stirring race trouble in this country and trying to force their communistic program on the Christian people of America, there is no telling what will happen to them here. 1953. Dwight Eisenhower, who in the 1915 West Point Military Academy graduating class yearbook, is referred to as a terrible Swedish Jew, is elected President of the United States. On June 19, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg are a hidden microphone planted by the Israelis is discovered in the office of the United States ambassador in Tel Aviv. In Holland, the Bilderberg Group meets for the first time at the Bilderberg Hotel in Arnhem. The Bilderberg Group is a Rothschild-founded international organization of approximately 100-200 influential people, mostly politicians and business people, who meet annually, and in secret, to carry out the bidding of the Jewish world power behind the scenes. Regulars at these meetings put forward the forthcoming global policy, which delegates report back to their respective governments who then implement this policy. Bilderberg meetings are also used so that Rothschild, David Rockefeller and Jewish frontmen such as Henry Kissinger, can check out potential leaders of countries, and decide whether or not they want them as leaders of said countries. For example, Bill Clinton was there in 1991, Tony Blair was there in 1993, and Angela Merkel was there in 2005. Also Rands, who didn't pass the Bilderberg audition, such as future Chancellor of the Exchequer, Gordon Brown, and former leader of the Conservative Party, William Hague, were there in 1991 and 1998 respectively. 1955. The Israeli government carries out the clandestine terrorist bombings of a number of American facilities in Cairo, with the aim of making the Americans believe the Egyptians are responsible for them, in order to damage relations between the United States and Egypt. Edmond de Rothschild founds Compagnie Financière, Paris. 1956. On October 28, Menachem Begin, he of the infamous Deir Yassin massacre and who would go on to be a future Prime Minister of Israel, states at a Tel Aviv conference: "You Israelis, you should never become lenient if you kill your enemies. You shall have no pity on them until we have destroyed their so-called Arab culture, on the ruins of which we shall build our own civilization." Telephone taps are found connected to telephones in the residence of the United States military attaché in Tel Aviv. 1957. During a joint British, Israeli, and French invasion of the Suez Canal, Ariel Sharon commands units which murder Egyptian prisoners of war, as well as civilian Sudanese workers who the Jews had captured. A total of 273 unarmed prisoners are executed and dumped into mass graves. This story is suppressed for nearly 40 years until it breaks in the August 16, 1995, edition of the London Daily Telegraph. James de Rothschild dies, and it is reported, by the Rothschild-owned media, that he bequeaths a large sum of money to the State of Israel to pay for the construction of their parliament building, the Knesset. He states that the Knesset should be a symbol, in the eyes of all men, of the permanence of the State of Israel. On page 219 of his book, Tales of the British Aristocracy, L.G. Bine, the editor of Burke's Peerage, states that the Jews ... have made themselves so closely connected with the British peerage that the two classes are unlikely to suffer loss which is not mutual. So closely linked are the Jews and the lords that a blow against the Jews in this country would not be possible without injuring the aristocracy also. Maurice de Rothschild dies in Paris. 1959. In February, crypto-Jew, Fidel Castro, declares himself Prime Minister of Cuba, after leading a communist revolution there. 1960. In his book, Impact, Essays on Ignorance and the Decline of American Civilization, published this year, Ezra Pound states a nation that will not get itself into debt drives the usurers to fury. 1962. On June 25, prayer is banned from the American public schools system following a Supreme Court decision. This court decision was based upon a case brought by a New York Jew named Engel in the case Engel v. Vitale. Senator Robert Byrd, a Democrat from West Virginia, states of this decision, can it be that we too are ready to embrace the foul concepts of atheism? Somebody is tampering with America's soul. I leave it to you who that somebody is. Rothschild FREs establishes Intel as an umbrella company for all their mineral mining interests. Frederick Morton publishes his book, The Rothschilds, in which he states though they control scores of industrial, commercial, mining and tourist corporations, not one bears the name Rothschild. Being private partnerships, the family houses never need to, and never do, publish a single public balance sheet, or any other report of their financial condition. 1963. On June 4, President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States 1961, 1963, signs Executive Order 11,110 which returns to the United States government the power to issue currency, without going through the Rothschilds-owned Federal Reserve. Less than 6 months later, on November 22, President Kennedy is assassinated by the Rothschilds for the same reason as they assassinated President Abraham Lincoln in 1865. He wanted to print American money for the American people, as opposed to for the benefit of a money-grabbing, war-mongering foreign elite. This Executive Order 11,110 is actually rescinded by President Lyndon Baines Johnson, an alleged crypto-Jew, the 36th President of the United States 1963 to 1969, in one of the first acts he carries out as United States President. Another, and probably the primary, reason for Kennedy's assassination is, however, the fact that he made it quite clear to Israeli Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion that under no circumstances would he agree to Israel becoming a nuclear state. The Israeli newspaper